Imagine this: a young man with everything going for him. A promising career, a loving family, a future he couldn't wait to start. He steps out for a night with friends, just like any other Friday. And then, he steps into nothing. No scream, no struggle, no goodbye. This is the story of Brian Shaffer. And it's not just a disappearance. It's an impossibility. Brian Randall Shaffer was born on February 11th, 1979, in Pickerington, Ohio, a quiet suburb outside Columbus. He was the older of two brothers, raised in a tight-knit family by his parents, Randy and Renee. Brian was the guy everyone loved. Smart, funny, always smiling. He graduated high school in 1997 and headed to Ohio State University, where he earned a degree in microbiology 6 years later. By 2004, he was in his second year at OSU's College of Medicine, on track to become a doctor. But medicine wasn't his only dream. Deep down, Brian wanted something different. He told friends he fantasized about starting a band, music in the style of Jimmy Buffett, relaxed and carefree, maybe on a tropical beach somewhere. Life seemed perfect. He had a serious girlfriend, Alexis Waggoner, another medical student. They were planning a trip to Miami for spring break in April 2006. Friends and family believed a proposal was coming soon. But just weeks before, tragedy struck. In March 2006, Brian's mother, Renee, died from myelodysplasia, a rare blood disorder. His friends said he handled it well on the surface, but inside, who knows what weight he carried. Brian was exhausted from cramming for exams that week. His father, Randy, even noticed it during their steak dinner on March 31st, the start of spring break. Randy thought Brian should stay home and rest, but Brian had plans. A night out with friends. Nothing out of the ordinary. Or so it seemed. March 31st, 2006, a Friday night in Columbus. Brian met up with his friend, William Clint Florence, at 9 p.m. at the Ugly Tuna Saloona, a popular three-level bar in the South Campus Gateway complex, right near OSU. It was the kind of place college kids loved. Loud music, cheap drinks, a crowd to get lost in. They started with shots of hard liquor. An hour later, Brian called Alexis, who was visiting family in Toledo before their Miami trip. Everything was normal. Brian and Clint bar hopped through the arena district, having one shot at each stop. Around midnight, they met up with Meredith Reed, a friend of Clint's, in the short north. She gave them a ride back to the Ugly Tuna for one last round. The bar was packed. They drank, they laughed, they played pool. It was just another night. Until it wasn't. At around 1:30 to 1:45 a.m., Brian told his friends he was stepping away, maybe to the bathroom, maybe for a cigarette. He said he'd be right back. Clint and Meredith waited. The bar closed at 2 a.m. They called him repeatedly as the crowd poured out. No answer. They assumed he'd gone home without saying goodbye. Here's where the story becomes a nightmare. The Ugly Tuna had security cameras everywhere. One pointed right at the main second-floor entrance, the escalator leading in and out. Police reviewed every second of footage. Brian is seen going up the escalator with Clint and Meredith at 1:15 a.m. At 1:55 a.m., he's caught briefly talking to two young women outside the bar. He says goodbye and walks off camera. That's the last time Brian Shaffer is ever seen. He never reappears on any camera. Not leaving through the main exit, not the service door nearby, not any emergency exit. The bar had no other publicly accessible ways out. A nearby construction area was checked. Nothing. Every person who left after 1:15 a.m. was identified. Brian wasn't one of them. He simply vanished inside that building. Alexis and Brian's father kept calling over the weekend. No answer. Monday morning, April 3rd, Brian missed his flight to Miami with Alexis. That's when police were called. They started at the bar, searched every inch, the roof, dumpsters, even the sewer system under Columbus. Nothing. His apartment on King Avenue, 6 blocks from the bar, was untouched. His car was still parked outside. No signs of foul play, no note, no struggle. Brian had no known enemies, no debts, no history of running away. But the calls kept coming. In September 2006, 5 months later, Alexis called Brian's phone, as she did every night. It rang 3 times, then went to voicemail.
Brian here. Not around at the moment. Shoot me a message, and I'll ring you back.
Singular said it was a glitch, but a ping traced it to a cell tower in Hilliard, 14 miles northwest of Columbus. Was it real, or just another dead end? Even after all these years, the theories never stop. Here are some real comments people are still leaving online.
Didn't they think he took a nap on a dumpster in the alley and a garbage truck emptied it with him inside or something? I recall seeing something about his family, saying he was known to do such things when inebriated. I could be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure that was a ruling theory.
Not to be crude, but if he was in the bar somewhere, I'm sure the smell would have caught people's attention by now. Or does it not work like that?
The case exploded in the media. Tips poured in from Michigan, Texas, even Sweden. None panned out. At a Pearl Jam concert in Cincinnati that year, one of Brian's favorite bands, Eddie Vedder asked the crowd for tips.
But dead serious here. This last April, a young man named Brian Shaffer kind of went missing. He looks like he's in his 20s. He's 6'2", real handsome guy. If you look into this, it's out there. FindBrianShaffer.com. That's his name, Brian Shaffer. And it feels like he's one of our own. And if you have any information, there is a reward, but you can also remain anonymous by calling Crime Stoppers Ohio. There's information on NBC4. And like I said,
Alexis, Brian's girlfriend, never stopped searching. She plastered his missing person posters everywhere, scoured the riverbanks, the dumpsters near the bar, every possible spot. She scoured it all. And to this day, she asks herself the same haunting question. Is he dead? Or did he run away? She can't accept that he might have left her willingly. How could someone she loved so deeply just abandon her like that? If he's alive, how could he do this to her? In 2009, Alexis got married. She has 2 sons now. But she still struggles with it every day. It haunts her. The idea that the man who loved her could just vanish and never look back. She refuses to believe he chose to leave. No. Something terrible must have happened to him. That's the only way it makes sense. Theories ran wild. Murder inside the bar, body hidden in a wall or dumpster. But with hundreds of people there, how? Escape through a secret construction exit or maintenance tunnel? Police say no. Staged his own disappearance for a new life? But why? He had everything. Some even linked it to the smiley face killer theory, a disputed serial killer targeting young men near water. Police and the FBI rejected it. A psychic told Randy Shaffer his son's body was in water near a bridge pier. Randy and Brian's brother Derek spent days searching the Olentangy River with volunteers. Nothing. Tragedy compounded. In September 2008, during a windstorm, Randy was clearing debris in his yard. A branch fell and killed him. In his online obituary guest book, a hoax message appeared. To Dad, love Brian, U.S. Virgin Islands. Police traced it to a public computer in Franklin County. A cruel joke. Clint Florence, Brian's friend that night, refused a polygraph. The two women Brian talked to were identified in 2009. They were never asked to take one. In 2014, police said they still got 2 tips a month. The case filled 4 boxes of files. They have 3 theories, but won't discuss them. In 2019, a photo of a homeless man in Tijuana, Mexico, resembling Brian, went viral. FBI facial recognition ruled it out. In March 2021, the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation released an age-progressed photo of what Brian might look like at 42. Still nothing. If you ever see someone who looks like Brian, or recognize that Pearl Jam Alive tattoo on his right arm, please say something. It could be the break this case has waited 20 years for. What do you think happened to Brian Shaffer? Was it foul play, a perfect escape, or something we can't even imagine? Share your theories in the comments, the most logical one, or the most terrifying one. Because sometimes the truth is stranger than any theory we can imagine.